This is the gear changer in a probably a US automatic gearbox vehicle. And the idea here that Nickelback comes on and you try and turn it down and you end up parked in the middle of the motorway. Yeah, I don't generally recommend it. I mean, you can tell it's in the US because what's this here? It's a gun. But yeah, Motch, if this was in your car, how often do you think you would just blow up the engine by trying to ram it into park while you're at 70 miles an hour?
I have on multiple occasions accidentally turned my aircon on while trying to change the music. So yeah, this is absolutely something I'd do.
Yeah, I think there's so many controls in cars that you want to make it damn clear which one's which. Like which one controls the music or the aircon, and which one controls the vehicle.
See, this is not the biggest sin of modern car design. The biggest sin of modern car design is all of it being put onto one little touchscreen in the middle of the thing. See, this one at least is like, okay, it's a dumb gear shift, but at least it's like a physical knob. My main issue with like Teslas and the like is that everything is just controlled by what is essentially an iPad sellotaped to the car. And I don't understand how that is not just distracted driving the recipe. Cars are good when they have little buttons and things. Like, listen, we got the perfect amount of like little screens in the cars when we figured out how to have it display the name of the song that was playing. That's as far as we needed to go.
You heard it here first, folks.
Everything beyond that is unnecessary.
But yeah, the thing with touchscreens is they are very versatile. You can do a hell of a lot with a small amount of space. But what you don't want while you're driving is to deal with the other side of that versatility, the corollary of that versatility, which is like button overload. Because it's not just that there are many buttons, because you have that in physical layouts. At least the buttons in that case don't move. In a touchscreen layout, you only have like maybe 10 options at most on any one page, but there's about 1,000 pages in total. And to switch to the page you want, you have to press like 6 buttons in a row. And one of those maybe scroll down the page to get to the thing you're after. Now that is all assuming that the UI is tip-top, like Android or iOS level. But usually they're not. Usually they were made on the cheap just to get the car out and up and running. Now I'm saying this having not really used them, but I know enough about other sort of UI design that I could say this stuff. I would strongly recommend for when it's actually an important use for when you need to be able to know what you're doing straight away, that you always have a physical button for important functions, even if that function is to turn the music down or turn the music off, because that can distract you from driving. Something like that should always be a readily accessible button. Now, it does not have to be a physical button, but as long as the touchscreen is designed in such a way that you can always just do one press to do something essential, that should be okay. I do think that you could have a good car UI that is just touchscreens. I'd still say that anything to do with the actual workings of the car, the driving process, should be physical. But everything else, you could design a UI well enough that you could do it on a touchscreen. But I don't think anyone has.
Like, if you're doing the touchscreen bit for the features that you're not actively using while you're driving, I think that's fine. Like the sat-nav features being entirely touchscreen, yeah, that's fair enough. You're not realistically going to need to be touching those much while the car is moving. But for stuff like the music, nah, make it a little scrolly wheel. Make it a little scrolly wheel.
I think my argument that you could put everything on a touchscreen, I will say that you could. That doesn't mean you should, because what I would recommend for that is that, say, if music is playing, then you can always see a pause button, and you can always see a very easy way to change the volume, just like a bar across the top and a big pause button on the left, and maybe what song is playing, just at the top of the touch. But then what's the point of not just having that as physical buttons in that location anyway? Well, you could argue that you could have something pop up over it if it really needs to, but then you can't access that thing anymore, so that defeats the purpose. The only argument in favor of doing that on a touchscreen is that if you're not playing music, that space is available. Maybe not strong enough, though, as an argument.
Eudomania makes the excellent point. Radio controls built into the steering wheel was the apex that's been downhill ever since. Absolutely. The little volume up and down buttons on my car are built into the very edge of the steering wheel, right where my hand is anyway. And it's just the natural order to be trying to park the car and to just press my thumb on the down button because for some reason turning the music down makes it easier to park. It's simply following the natural order of things, just as Darwin intended. Anyway.
Yeah, this is a conversation we could, I think, spend a lot more time on because it's a big deal. User interface design. But let's move on for now. With the conclusion that this conflating your car controls with your music controls is not a good idea, and I would recommend against it. At the very least, if you're going to have a wheel like this, at least put it down where the gear changing stick would normally be, rather than up on the side. But yeah.